Turn on the lights. Let there be light. Can't we just get straight to reading?
Yeah, we just get straight. Do we have to read?
Do we have to read?
Yeah, you should just read that
Yeah.
for the whole class.
We're gonna start with 10 minutes.
No.
Oh, we can skip 10 minutes.
10 minutes can be this because we might be finishing it.
We will finish it.
Yeah, but in the 10 minutes, right? I read it. So we don't have to do 10 minutes to read it.
You're gonna do 10 minutes of your own personal reading, and then I'll finish Angel Snow.
That's how we do it.
And
I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm very waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Not doing anything. What's happening? Hey, I saw that too. I'm quick. I'm not gonna eat and fire on you.
yeah, punch her in the gut though.
That's my finger. I didn't do that. She's my friend.
Wait, you haven't seen it? You have to right?
Rashay, we are all friends here. And we gotta forgive people when they have a bad attitude. Monica, you don't have a bad attitude. I call those bad attitudes. Oh, I'm not bad attitude.
This was made 1987.
It was amazing.
No, I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We're gonna start with 10 minutes SSR and then finish Angels in the Snow. And then we will begin a 2-day assignment that I'll explain when we get to it.
Oh God, I hate
I just lost my page.
I'll be the procrastinator.
Why is it H?
I procrastinate.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, find a stopping point. We got a couple of pages left of Angels in the Snow to finish. And we left off on page 80.
Oh, it's like out of a book. Is that like, are we doing part of the book?
This is a short story. This is a great question. So, Angels in the Snow is not a full book. It's not a novel.
That's just like
This is all that it is. So sometimes authors write long parts where teachers just borrow certain chapters to show what they need to show. But sometimes authors, and Matt Della Pena has written whole books. This is just a short story. Okay? Takes place in a short amount of time. A really, I think, meaningful lesson that we'll read to find out what that is. So what's just happened at the top of Snow-Covered Stoop? For those of you that are looking, yeah, Monica.
The cat like just escaped,
Mhm.
and so before that,
Haley.
Haley left a note for Shy
Mhm.
and like a can of lasagna for him.
Right.
And so once he opened the door to get the lasagna, the cat ran and he chased after the cat. The cat ran all the way up to his.
Okay.
Please have one.
Very good. All right. So Olive was nowhere to be found. Great, I thought. No, one damn job. I hurried to the highest floor and searched the landing and looked out the window at the snow-covered fire escape. Then I ran all the way back down to the ground floor and checked the front vestibule where the mailboxes were. There was no sign of Olive anywhere. After another 15 minutes of unsuccessful searching, I found myself standing on Haley's welcome mat, knuckles hovering in front of her door. She'd obviously left me a plate of food, as opposed to inviting me over, because she didn't want to see me. And asking for help had never been my strong suit. Still, I knocked. She opened the door right away, wearing a look of concern. What's wrong? I heard you going up and down the stairs like 15 times. Olive made a run for it. I can't find her anywhere. Mike and Janice are going to kill me. Haley grabbed her keys. I'm sure she has to be here somewhere. Come on. We went back to the top floor and looked in every corner. Haley even opened the window to the fire escape and stuck out her head. Nothing. Olive wasn't in the elevator either, or the trash chute, or the bike room. We scoured every floor, all the way down to the ground. But on the way back up, Haley grabbed my wrist and pointed. You've got to be shitting me, I said. There was Olive, sitting right beside the tin foil-covered plate, licking her right paw. She didn't even protest when Haley scooped her up into her arms. I keyed open Mike's door, and Haley set down Olive. And we both watched her saunter over to her bowl of dry food, not a care in the world. You scared me to death, I said. You tried to cat sit and watch TV at the same time, didn't you? I gave her a sarcastic laugh. Seriously though, thanks. I don't know what I would have done. No worries. Haley's hair was wet, which confused me, and her eyes looked puffy. She reached down for the plate of lasagna. Even if it was just a big ploy to get me back down here. She handed me the plate. And thanks for this. I stood there holding it, staring at the floor. About last night, Haley, I'm really, really sorry. I know you're probably starving, she said, cutting me off. But is it absolutely crucial for you to eat right this second? Now? I said, not really. Why? Put on your heaviest coat and rain boots and meet me downstairs in 5. The clouds had finally cleared, and the sun was low in the sky. The outside air was crisp. I could see my breath as I followed Haley up the buried sidewalk. We were moving slowly because a thick layer of snow blanketed everything. I seriously love being the first one to walk in it, she said, crunching into the sea of untouched white. Same with me. All I had on was a pair of shell-top Adidas, and my socks were already soaked. My Padres sweatshirt was way too thin. I had to bury my hands deep inside my pockets to keep them warm, but trekking through fresh snow in Brooklyn was pretty cool. Usually, it turned into a nasty brown slush within minutes of falling. When we got up to 7th Avenue, we looked up and down the empty street. Tonight, we have it all to ourselves, Haley said. Where are we going anyway? Prospect Park. I have a feeling it's gorgeous up there right now. All the shops and restaurants were closed. Their graffitied storefront gates lowered and bolted shut. Trash bags were still piled high, buried underneath mountains of snow. The plowers had yet to come through, so you couldn't tell where the sidewalks ended and the street began. Not that there were any cars on the move, or pedestrians for that matter. Haley was right. We were the only two people out braving the post-blizzard conditions. Halfway up the next block, we heard music coming from the open window of somebody's brownstone. A corny Christmas song that didn't even seem that corny. Want to stop and listen for a minute? Haley asked. It'll feel more like Christmas. Sure. I brushed off 2 spots at the bottom of the stoop and we sat down. It felt strange being so close to her. I thought about bringing up last night again, to try and clear the air, but the timing didn't seem quite right. So I kept quiet, both of us listening to the music and thinking our own thoughts. The sun had ducked behind a row of brownstones to the west of us, and the wind had picked up slightly. But for some reason, I no longer felt as cold. Haley bumped her knee against mine.
I have to admit something to you. One last round of getting to know you game. She grinned a little and shook her head. No, we're done with that. She picked at a loose string near the pocket of her coat. So, you remember when you came up to check out my shower? I nodded. Well, a funny thing happened that night after you left. It miraculously started running again. Wait, I said, slow on the uptake. But you still came down to use Mike's. Oops. It dawned on me what she was saying. She'd used the shower as an excuse to keep coming down to see me. So your pipes aren't frozen anymore. I don't know if they ever were. She reached into her hood and pulled out a few strands of damp blonde hair. I had just finished showering when you knocked on my door. My mom would kill me if she knew I was sitting out here with wet hair. We heard little kid laughter in the apartment with the music, and we both looked up, but you couldn't see anything. It sounded like a boy. Oh, and one other thing, Haley said. I called home earlier today, and I officially stopped being a coward. What do you mean? I told Justin what I told you last night, that I had a ticket to come home, but I couldn't bring myself to get on the plane. I decided it wasn't my place to say anything, so I just listened and nodded. And I'll tell you something, she said. That wasn't fun at all. We spent half the day crying to each other on the phone. She stopped picking at the loose thread and stuck her hands in her coat pockets. But breaking it off was the right thing to do. It's hard, I said. Tell me about it. But it felt wrong to be excited in the wake of some other human misfortune. But excitement was exactly what I felt. Because if Haley was no longer taken, maybe. We were getting up to leave when a new song started playing. Here Comes Santa Claus. Me and Haley looked at each other and cracked up. And we both sat back down. And through my laughter, I imagined the boy in the apartment above us, sitting near the radio with his little sis and his mom and dad. I wish I could tell him to remember every single thing about today. Not just whatever presents he got, but his family too. His mom. Because one day he'd be far from home, sitting on a snow-covered stoop with a girl he might like, laughing. And he'd want to picture how it all used to be.
That's it.
Wait, that's it?
That's it?
Yes, bro. They finished like that. What happened?
Really?
What happened? We'll be chatting more about that. So I really, 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 really don't want you to lose these stories. This is not the last you will work with this text.
Why didn't they have?
Keep them in a very safe spot.
So,
It's interesting.
no,
Not
it was
no-
horrible. The ending was horrible.
Right, that was.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it
Why would
was.
it end like
What
that?
did you need to happen?
Everything.
That's a really good point Cole just made. That they let you kind of interpret it on your own.
They should
Some really good books let you do that.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes really bad books let you do that too.
Yeah, it's still the style
Like that.
All right. So moving right along, we are going to start reviewing signposts. Okay. What you will see here is a sheet that you are not allowed to use. Your life will become infinitely more difficult when you lose it. Okay? Infinitely harder. So, on this sheet, you will see some of the signposts that you may remember. Who remember, like, officially signposts last year? You got them a little bit? Okay. We're going to review some, and we will move into some that were not introduced to you last year. And for some of you, this may be absolutely brand new, and that's fine too. But just a little bit of background here.
Signposts are, as you read, the signals, the signs, where a good reader would stop and think, or understand that as the reader or as the author is presenting something in this way, using one of these tactics represented by the signpost, that we're supposed to stop and ask ourselves things, because there's deeper meaning. Basically, what the signpost shows is that there's more interpretation kind of tucked in at this portion of the story, and we need to react to it. Okay? So, to do this, here's what I need. I'm going to test out the bandwidth in this room. To do this, okay, I want you to grab your phones, and for the rest of the period, I need you to turn your Wi-Fi off. Here's why.
What?
I'm going to ask.
Okay, fine. Turn off my data.
Okay, listen, please.
Oh, my Wi-Fi's off.
You guys. The reason is that machine only puts out so much bandwidth, and what I'm going to ask for you to interact with today are 6 different video clips. Okay? I want to see if you can watch them and work through them in your own time, at your own pace. Okay? If we can do that, great. If we can't, and like the buffering on each video takes too long, we'll just all come back together and watch videos all together, and you can respond to them on your feed. Okay? So turning your phone's Wi-Fi off means you're not pulling bandwidth from our machine, so there will be more bandwidth to go around to watch these videos. Does that make sense? Okay. Seth, question?
Yeah, we use our Chromebooks for this.
Absolutely. The next step is to pull out your Chromebook.
How are you gonna watch it?
Following the link here to signpost with video clips, you're gonna make a copy and put this into your English 9 folder.
You just clicked on it.
So when I click on it, this screen opens up. It has you make a copy, and that's exactly what I want you to do. And before we do anything, I want you to click on File and move to your English 9 folder. So move to your English 9 folder. That way it's not just swimming around your general drive. All right?
I organized all my stuff with that in my background.
We did.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what you've done. So you add it to your drive, and then you move it to your English 9 folder. Once you've done that, you can change copy of review signpost to like Emma's review signpost with video clip. And then here's what you need this pink sheet to help you do. Okay? This is just going to be basic review. But for each of the review signposts below, the ones that you may have encountered last year in junior high, for each signpost below, we'll watch some videos. Look for the signpost in the video and then jot down what that signpost was. Then you'll annotate the signpost that you saw by answering the corresponding question. Well, where is the corresponding question? It's here.
What do you mean by signpost?
Okay? Here is what you need to be able to do this. So, for instance, we're going to watch this first clip together, and then I can model what it is I want you to do with this. All right? And as we process through what we recognize in the video, we'll be able to answer the corresponding questions from your pink sheet. All right? So let's model the first one together.
Oh, stop working.
Okay. Temporarily unavailable. Hold on just a second.
Oh, Nemo.
Be quiet, baby.
Hey. No.
Okay.
What's that? I know what that is. Oh, Sandy Blinken someone. He said it was called a butt. Oh, look at me. I'm gonna go touch the butt. Yeah, let's see you get close. Okay. Beat that. Come on, Nemo, how far can you go? My dad says it's not safe.
Nemo! No!
Dad?
You're about to swim in open water!
No, I wasn't
Just
gonna
quickly, I
go.
was here.
Dad,
I haven't
no.
shown up. I
I
don't know.
wasn't gonna go. Yeah, you was doing great. No, I wasn't.
This does not concern you, kids. And you're lucky I don't tell your parents you were out there. You know you can't swim well.
I can swim fine, Dad, okay?
No, it's not okay. You shouldn't be anywhere near here. Okay, I was right. You know what? We'll start school in a year or two.
No, Dad, just because you're scared to do it.
Really, you're not ready and you're not coming back until you are. You think you could do these things, but you just can't, Nemo.
There's nothing to gather over there. Excuse me, is there anything I can do? I am a scientist, sir. Is there any problem?
You know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt things. He isn't a good swimmer. I just think it's a little too soon for him to be out here unsupervised.
Well, I can assure you he's quite safe with me.
Look, I'm sure he is. But you have a large class, and he can get lost, you know, from sight if you're not looking. Now, nothing you're not looking.
Oh my gosh! Nemo's swimming on the sea!
Nemo! What do you think you're doing?
Savage.
You're gonna get stuck out there. I'm gonna have to get you before another fish does. Get back here. I said get back here now. Stop! You take one more move, mister. Don't you dare. If you put one fin on that boat, are you listening to me? Don't touch the boat. Nemo! Tail right back here, Nemo. That's right. You are in big trouble, young man. You hear me?
World War II animation.
I'm coming, Nemo. Nemo, no! Nemo! No!
So, looking now, I know, right? Looking now at your review, and I'm on clip number 2. Thinking about what you remember about signposts. Let's go through the options. First option, again and again. Does that clip show again and again? No. Tough questions. No. Words of the wiser?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Hold on to that. Memory moment.
No.
No, not really.
Kind of.
Changes and surprises?
Yes.
Yes. An aha moment? No.
No.
So between words of the wiser and changes and surprises, I would say this is more changes and surprises. Without this change, Nemo would not have to be found. Finding
movie
Nemo would not exist. It would just be Nemo. And it would probably be off the board. So, where it says here, this video uses the signpost, changes, and surprises. Okay. Then,
Yeah, so where do you go back to it?
yep, it's on your agenda on Canvas. Then you have to find changes and surprises on your pink sheet. Because where it says the corresponding action, we've got to push ourselves to analyze exactly what is the author, or in this case, the screenwriter, intending this change or surprise to show us. How is he or she guiding us as readers through this change or surprise to be able to understand the story in a new way? Okay, so looking at surprises and sudden changes, you could answer, what does the character's change show us about how the character is acting or feeling? That could absolutely apply here. You could write from the referencing Nemo and his reactions, but I think you'd have more to say maybe about Marlin. What I think is particularly interesting is this next question. What does the change in conflict tell you about the concepts in the text? Okay, remember concept. It's a big idea. The subject of Finding Nemo is fish.
Yes. Yes.
What are the concepts of Finding Nemo? What's the story about fish really like go on to say? About what did you say, Mateo? Okay, fatherhood or family. It's a story about love. It's a story about commitment. It's a story about, what else would it be? I mean, like, there are a lot of associated conflicts.
Several swear words.
Okay, well, it's there. You need to do it. Okay? So the answer to the signpost question is, how does this conflict, this change, okay, how does this set the story in motion to be a story about commitment or about family? Okay? In like 2 sentences, I need you to answer that question. Either one of those first 2. Probably the third one here, how might this change point to potential irony? That doesn't apply. Okay, you'll know when it does. But answering one of these first 2 questions about this change or surprise is going to push you into analyzing, push you into thinking deeper. It's more than just, oh, and then this little fish was lost.
Forever.
Okay? So we're on clip 2 here, just so you type it in the right box. The Dumbledore clip didn't work.
Just be very Dumbledore, you know what signpost it is.
What?
It says Dumbledore's advice, so.
Oh, that was clip 2. It was clip 1. It was clip 1. Oh, it's Harry Potter. Clip 1 is Harry Potter.
Clip 2. This video says
I think he says.
We did this model together.
I don't know how to get to these.
It is on my YouTube page.
He just
We're still trying to figure out how he gets there, but
So he just needs to go in there and click review signposts.
yep, and then he can watch the clips and answer the questions.
Like what should we, this basically, what should I answer to like the science question, like what am I
Answer the sentence.
like saying this is changes and surprises,
So Nick, here, the corresponding questions here, you're thinking about what applies to the clip that we just watched.
And you're sitting here.
Yeah.
Why don't we start?
Because my clip 1 didn't open.
Why does it do that?
Okay, I'm gonna show you clip 3 now. Okay, so watch clip 3.